the CHL news, here is Alex Furco.
I'm not going to keep this hat on for long because it won't fit my headphones. And my arms are already getting tired.
Merrick Robinson.
She answered the question. She said no, so then I went, okay.
And Phil Tremblay.
Nebraska could disappear off
I know
the
it's in the
face of the
States,
earth,
but where's
and it would not
Nebraska?
affect me any.
Grab a seat because the show starts right now.
The Stars almost fall apart in Game 2, but keep it alive. The Hurricanes very much fall apart in Game 3. Here is take 2. I think that might be donuts if Aiden messes up again.
No, it is donuts.
Donuts. He was late. He was late.
I mean, I'm not only gonna count that as one because he got here with enough time to do.
That's true.
You know, mic levels and everything. So he was here. He was here with enough time to do his job. But that's one for Aiden so far. We got about
Aiden,
about
that's how
10
you know
minutes.
Aiden, that's how you know you're in the show.
Yeah, there you go.
We got about 10 minutes into our first take before we were notified that Aiden wasn't recording.
But that's okay. We still love him anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get rolling with take 2.
Let's repeat exactly what we just said. So.
Phil has some F1 stuff to talk about.
Okay. I didn't think we were going to go back reference.
To it. No, let's go.
We're done. We're done.
Oh, Logan Sargent deserves a shout out.
Yeah. Recorded this time.
Obviously, he's
I think the title is take 2.
the worst driver on the Formula One grid, but he's the only American, and obviously the last Grand Prix was in Miami. He's from Florida. He was at the Florida Panthers game. He might be their good luck charm, Alex, because Florida Panthers brought it back and beat Boston 6-1.
Brilliant bounce back after a 5-1 loss.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I need Logan Sargent in the building more often.
Yeah.
Now they're going to one of the hardest buildings to win.
Mm-hmm.
The TD Garden.
TD Garden is one of the loudest buildings to play in, from what I hear at least.
Yeah.
1-1 series is what we expected there. Same thing with Colorado-Dallas. I think a 1-1 series is expected there.
Yeah.
Edmonton-Vancouver, they play again tonight. And I'm still standing pat that series, that both Western series are series, is that the right word?
I don't think it's a word of the day.
Toss-ups. That is what I'm saying.
I think both Western series can be considered toss-ups, but there's mistakes that if certain teams were to fix them immediately, it's no longer toss-ups.
Absolutely.
Like going just to the Dallas series, if you outplay Colorado you've outplayed them for 4 out of 7 periods.
Series is already plural.
Oh, there you go.
Quick Google.
Interesting.
Dallas Stars have outplayed Colorado 4 out of the 7 periods.
If NHL hockey was a 40-minute game, the Dallas Stars would be Cup champs.
I think
for sure.
if it was 40-minute games, all 3 of our teams would be in the playoffs.
No,
Calgary wouldn't.
No.
Calgary was pretty decent at comeback wins.
Yeah, Calgary sucked in the front 20, not the back 20.
Yeah, it was the other way around because Markstrom
led in the first of 3 shots every game.
Routinely. But looking at Colorado Avalanche Dallas Stars, obviously that series is tied at 1.
Going back to Colorado.
Do we think that this game would have been different if Colorado was smarter with the penalties? Because we look at the first and second period, there's 4 penalties for Colorado, 2 for
I don't think that's the main takeaway.
Dallas.
I think the main takeaway from penalties-wise is that Dallas knows that Colorado is lethal on the power play.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that they've stayed out the box as well as they did in Game 2, I think that was a message going into Game 2, was to stay out the box. Don't let that power play develop because that's what started their comeback in the first game. But I would so Dallas did good in that sort of sense, and I think Colorado, to touch on your point, they got to be smarter.
They got to be smarter.
You're not taking 2 delay of game calls, I think.
Yeah.
And 2 too many men calls.
It's insane in the second round of playoffs.
That's ridiculous.
But I'm looking at this. If Heiskanen doesn't score these 2 power play goals, Colorado wins the game.
I mean, it doesn't help that Sagan scored a shorthanded one.
Yeah.
That's a good point too.
The Avalanche were bad on both sides of their special teams last night, and ultimately that's what failed them.
Dallas just needs to do a better job of not falling asleep in the third.
It's not, yeah. So Dallas has to, stay awake in the third, keep their foot firmly planted on the pedal. Colorado, they have to settle down.
They got to be cleaner.
I think with too many men penalties and with puck over glass penalties, those are two panic penalties.
Those are
not
penalties you can't be taking.
That's not like a cross check where. That's not a cross check where it happens every game.
Yeah.
Too many men is either someone getting excited to hit the ice or someone not being fast enough to get off the ice.
You would think after taking the first one halfway through the first period, you would tighten your bench up.
Yeah.
And you would kind of have a little bit more control, and you wouldn't let another one go when just before. I guess that would have right after you start getting, or right before. What's the timing on this? Yeah, right after you get a little bit more momentum from Kiviranta's goal.
Yeah.
Like,
I think Dallas has to stick to their game. I think they become too defensively when they're up 4-0, which obviously makes sense. You're up 4.
Yeah.
You want to play
Score
defense,
effects is a thing.
but you got to keep just playing normal. You can't change the way you're playing no matter the score.
yeah.
I think you got to realize that, and it was scary, but it doesn't matter anymore. You walked out of it with a win. It doesn't matter how pretty, how ugly. A win is a win.
And now they go to Mile High City, which, as we've said a couple of times, is a very difficult arena to be in just from a physiological standpoint.
Yeah, the topographical nature of
There's a word.
Yeah.
Chris Tanev, obviously former Calgary Flames, we miss him dearly, gets his first assist of the playoffs on Esa Lindell's empty netter. Again, that series is tied at 2. The shots are tied at 1, sorry. The shots are very close on that game.
Georgiev
All these stats except power play are pretty neck and neck. Face-off percentage is 50.7 for
look
Colorado.
at block shots, though.
Block
26
shots,
to
26
16.
for Colorado.
Georgiev kind of, I feel like they switch. Jake Onger plays like Jake Onger in the first and second, and then plays like Georgiev in the third, and Georgiev plays like Jake Onger in the third.
Yeah.
They kind of just switch goalies almost.
But no one in the Stanley Cup playoffs is playing like Igor Shesterkin.
Okay, so 2 days ago we thought there's no way Carolina's going to be swept, and they play last night.
We're on broomstick
Oh,
watch.
that's your little prop.
We're on broomstick watch.
We are on sweep watch because Carolina can't seem to figure it out, especially at home.
Well, I can't seem to figure out the Rangers. Team's insane.
It's not even figuring out the Rangers. It's
I am going to say this though. Whoever they
Sweep
play,
watch.
if they make it to the third round, if the Rangers make it to the third round, they are dropping again.
what do you mean?
Well, if they play
Oh, yeah,
Florida or
there's-
Boston, they're not winning. They're not
Yeah.
sweeping. And if they make the finals, you're not sweeping Vancouver, Edmonton, or
Obviously
Colorado or Dallas.
not. I mean, once you get to that point, it's best teams, right?
But you can
This
argue
is crazy.
this is probably the closest in regular season standings as you can get, because Carolina was second in the Metro and Rangers were first.
Yeah, but Rangers are really, really good right now. And I like the quote that I think Riley said on our last show was they're going to get swept, but they're not. They didn't get swept. I think it's going to be a similar kind of thing. Like, obviously, these games are close. These games are heavy.
Kochetkov
Like, 2
played-
of the 3 so far have gone to overtime.
Kochetkov played surprisingly well for
So that's where
being thrown in.
That's where I was going to go off the top of this discussion is who do you start game 4?
Kochetkov.
You really?
Yeah, I think he played fine. He was an unfortunate tip that won them the game. What was the save percentage?
For
88.
Kochetkov?
88.
That seems about the average of these playoffs today, besides for Igor and Swayman. I don't know. I think you start him.
Didn't we say, like, at the end of round 1 that Anderson's been hot? Why is Kochetkov starting?
Because Anderson dropped 2. Right? Like,
Yeah. Well,
so,
I mean, dropped.
Yeah.
1 regulation loss and 1 double OT loss. I don't think you can call that drop, but sure.
I don't know. Just they were trying to maybe shift the momentum, trying to get. It's like the equivalent of just changing lines. They're trying to get something going.
Yeah, Rangers are just lethal. Like, I think the last game we talked about, Carolina outshot them by a lot. This game, they outshot them 47-25.
I feel like Carolina's just not like they need to, like, hit them. They need to throw the body around. That's why I'm saying.
Well, Carolina has more hits than Rangers.
But like when you
It's
think
31-19.
when you think of like fights and that kind of thing, you think on Rangers you have Rempe, you have Jacob Trouba. Now think of the Canes.
I don't.
Exactly. Now think of the
No
Panthers.
one knows the Canes.
Think of the Panthers. Who's like that kind of guy for them?
Kachuk.
Yeah, think of Boston.
Marchand.
Okay, now think of Dallas.
Tanev.
Think of Colorado. For fighters.
Manson.
Think of Edmonton.
Half of them.
Hyman? Kane, sorry.
Kane.
And then
Took me a while to get
then
to.
think of Vancouver.
Zadorov.
See, you've all thought of people that are considered that could be considered fighters, and you cannot name one from Carolina.
But I could name more players from most of those teams than I can name from Carolina.
I could name more players on Carolina than most of the teams.
Especially if I didn't have it up in front of me right now. I don't know Carolina
They
very
need
well.
more toughness. They need to, you got to have some toughness going into this kind of game, because right now Rangers are relying on their goalie, but also you think how look how many times that attempted hit by Trouba has been played.
Yeah.
Like
that hit is so crazy. I love that video. I showed Alex this before we came live. I didn't show you. There's there's the video of one guy who just crashes through the windshield of a bus and flies through the whole bus. I saw that video, but the caption was Jacob Trouba when he's late for the team bus. Because after that one hit where he just flew over the boards.
I don't know. I think Carolina's got to be more tough, and they need to get some. I don't know. They need to do something here.
I don't think they're going to. I think they're
get swept.
It's coming.
Jake Gensel has been
It's coming.
very good for Carolina. So is Sebastian Aho.
That's about it. I mean,
Yeah.
Gensel got his one goal yesterday, but
Sorry.
Carolina played their best game in game 2.
Yes.
Because as you guys were talking there, I looked at the shots for Carolina through the series. In last night's game, 47. In game 1, 25, so expected. And then
Game 2 was they're gonna be a little bit way more shots because
and then game 2 is 57.
So that's actually not that many more shots, because the overtime goal
Yeah,
came
but are you
a minute 43 in.
Are these shots just chucking the puck or
Precisely what I was looking at.
Yeah,
so,
is that's what's happening here with the Carolina Hurricanes? They're focusing too much on getting pucks.
Did you see did you see Panarin's goal? I can't remember who shot it. I think it was Trocheck. Well, I'm just looking at the shot it, and Panarin just tips it, just right in front of the net. You don't need to be pretty. No goal needs to be pretty in the playoffs.
No, they don't need to be pretty, but they still need to be good. Obviously, 47 shots on goal, if none of them are dangerous, doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus almost every shot the Rangers put on goal tends to be dangerous.
So I pulled up the shot chart from actually where all the shots were shot from. Last night's game wasn't great. A few shots from in close, but otherwise, I would say it's about half or 40% at least of the shots that Carolina took last night were above or outside the face-off circles.
Yeah, you got to get closer. You got to park somebody in front of that net.
Game 2 was a lot better, a lot more shots in deep, but that's also taking into account that they have 57 shots at the end as well.
Yeah.
They need a net front presence. And ironically, you traded one away.
You don't win from the outside. You got to get inside, and that's just not Carolina. What Carolina's been doing.
They're going to get a lot of time outside when they're golfing in 3 days.
And then, pretty much, yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
That's the only. I think looking at all the series, they're all toss-ups except that one.
this one.
Because even if the Oilers go down 2-0 to Vancouver, they're still in it.
Yeah.
I think if Boston loses or whoever loses tonight in the Boston-Florida game, there's that other. Let's say Boston wins, Florida's still in it. Florida wins, Boston's still in it, right? Same with Dallas, Colorado. One win in that series doesn't kill the losing team.
Yeah,
Ironically, a win in this series actually does for Rangers.
Yeah, I think that's as close as it can be to signed, sealed, deliver. Vancouver, Edmonton, Canada's game.
Ironically, same boat as Dallas as for Edmonton. Edmonton you got to hold on. They had 0 shots in 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Trivia question. Who holds the record in NHL playoffs for the longest time without shot on net? What was the team and how long was it?
That would have.
Was it the Islanders this year?
No, I don't think it's Islanders this year. Without a shot on net.
So this team played so good defensively, they held this team to 0 shots in this blank amount of time.
Well, it wasn't the Oilers.
In the history?
In
Or-
NHL playoff history.
I'm leaning towards a team like the Devils, and I want to say. I'm gonna say 2001 or 2. I forget the year that they won in.
No idea.
I don't know the amount of time though.
2017 Nashville Predators held the Pittsburgh Penguins 33 minutes without a shot. You want to know what other thing that's kind of crazy? Nashville lost that game. 33 minutes.
That's crazy that they did lose that game. That's wild. Yeah, Edmonton or the Vancouver Canucks. I'm saying that's still a toss-up. I don't know.
Can't really say much.
I thought the Oilers were pretty dialed, and then
well,
And then they fell
they
apart.
decided not to be. I guess.
Dallas Stars, Edmonton Oilers. No more of those. No more.
You're up 4-1 over halfway into the second period, and then boom.
You lose it.
And then boom. You got scored on by Nikita Zadorov.
Zadorov, the GOAT.
And Connor Garland.
He scored but I mean, what's more shocking?
Was Connor Garland a forward or defenseman?
Forward.
Zadorov also got an assist on that garlic.
Can we also say Dakota Joshua loves playing game ones? The guy has 6 points in both game ones.
That's pretty sweet.
I had barely heard his name before this playoff.
I heard him a little bit near the end of regular season for.
If Vancouver,
I think he had a hat trick game. Oh no, he did the through the legs goal.
Between the legs goal,
Yeah, that's where I
if
figured him out.
Vancouver beats Edmonton, I'm going to change my MVP pick, the Conn Smythe pick, to
Artur Tarlovs.
Nikita Zadorov.
Okay.
He deserves it.
Imagine if Nikita Zadorov wins the Conn Smythe.
Right now, it's a
He's played
tie.
better with Vancouver than he
Conn
did with
Smythe.
Calgary.
Yeah.
It's between goalies Swayman and Shesterkin.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but it depends on
I
who
don't.
wins.
I also
the Stanley Cup.
don't know if you guys. I just jump into the Leafs here. The injury list was revealed today.
So
Did you guys see that?
Do we want to get into Leaf stuff?
I just want to touch on it a little bit.
Because they seem to fall apart a little bit in the past couple of days here. Are we done with playoffs before we jump into
I'm
Leaf
good
stuff?
with,
I'm
do we
good.
want to predict games tonight?
Yeah,
Quick,
let's do that
'cause
first
there's
before we
only
jump
two.
into Leafs because there are some things I want to talk about.
There's Vancouver, Edmonton, right? And then what's the other game tonight?
I'm taking Vancouver, Boston. Or no, Vancouver, Florida. Tonight for wins. 2-0 and 2-1.
Is that who's playing tonight?
Yeah. I'll double check.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
We
I would
have
say
Panthers in Boston at 5 p.m. Mountain Time and Oilers at Canucks at 8 p.m. Mountain Time.
I'm gonna say Edmonton Oilers, 4-3 overtime, and I'm gonna say Florida Panthers 4-2.
I'm saying Vancouver 3-1 empty net, and I'm saying Florida 5-4.
Oilers 4-1 empty net, and going back to the Garden. Bruins 3-2 overtime.
Nice.
Alrighty. So
That's good on Stanley Cup playoffs.
So just moving on to the Leafs, we'll start with we're gonna go up in player popularity a little bit. Okay, Connor Dewar, shoulder surgery, fair. Bobby McCann, MCL knee sprain, fair.
McMahon.
What did I say?
McCann.
It says Joe Wall. That's weird. Joseph Wall had a sprained back. That's why he did not play Game 7.
On the goal that didn't matter.
Yeah, so the goal that he dove for in the point something seconds.
0.1 seconds left.
Sprained his back.
Sprained his back and didn't play.
Oof.
William Nylander, severe migraines, which
Which
we
were talked about.
which we talked about. As he said, he went blind, which obviously there's no point in playing if you're not going to be able to see.
That's true.
Man's got a point.
That's true.
And then Austin Matthews became really sick after Game 2, suffered a hit in Game 4 that presented head injury issues. He became really sick after Game 2.
That information disclosed during the massive management presser from the Leafs.
I wish they
today.
gave us a little bit more information on Austin Matthews.
Like what?
Like,
They're not going to.
how sick was he?
I mean,
Because but they should. Because my thinking is, if they don't, there's gonna be so much.
It's
like
the
we
ti-
just
it's the-
speculate.
It's
right?
the time that gives you, like, it's the time where you literally say this player's now has dealt with this in the playoffs. You literally expose exactly what you've been dealing with.
But they
behind
didn't.
doors.
They just said he was sick.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
it's cancer. Say it's cancer.
I mean, it wasn't cancer. Otherwise, he probably would have left the team.
He
but
probably
it's,
wouldn't have played game 4.
It's just such a
Or 5.
Or 5, yeah.
The problem with saying, "Oh, here's how sick he was," it's just such a subjective thing.
One of the people on TikTok too, or Instagram, I can't remember, mentioned that they never talked after Keefe said he was sick. When they never talked about it again, because I think they kind of had that belief of like, oh, that's a weird narrative. They kind of never touched on Matthews being sick. They only just left him as undisclosed injury, or he's doubtful, or he's not playing, or he is playing. After the first game of him being sick, they stopped talking about it, which I thought was a really interesting kind of perspective to think, because it was like, that's a weird narrative to go along with. So,
I don't know.
I think that also gives us
When people,
Good
so many
transition to
people are
Keith.
already onto your team about not fighting and not being
Soft.
being soft.
Yeah.
You kind of have to do as much as you can to nullify that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the dogs are barking and the train keeps moving, but it's PR, right?
I think,
Yeah.
And then just transitioning into the Keefe firing, I think the Leafs have made the second wrong management decision in the past 2 years.
So okay. So let's talk about the Keefe firing first. So Keefe was let go yesterday. Thankfully, it wasn't on a show day after he stopped taping.
And very good, very honest send off. No pen and paper, just from the heart.
If you've seen the video he did, he comes across like a great guy.
Oh, 100%.
Really grateful, really thankful to the Leafs organization for hiring him and all that.
He will be out of a job for long.
No, absolutely not. Before we get into the coaches that Toronto's kind of looking at here, earlier today at about 8:30 Mountain, 10:30 Eastern, the Leafs management new CEO, what's his name?
Shanahan.
Nope. New MLSE CEO Keith Pelly, along with Brendan Shanahan, president of Hockey Ops, and former Calgary GM, current Leafs GM Brad Treliving, had the press conference. Just detailing pretty much the entire season. I imagine I haven't had the chance to actually watch it because I was doing some editing before the show, so I didn't have time to actually pick it apart. There is one part that I did want to talk about that has been posted on Sportsnet Instagram page. A quote from this presser by Brendan Shanahan. The ultimate responsibility is on me. The accountability is on me. Our playoff results have not been good enough. That's on me.
I mean, it's easy to say after you just fired the head coach.
So here's the thing: is
So then, by that logic, you should be going.
precisely that's the message that I've pretty much received from Leafs land, from the fans at least.
I think that's just spitting in Sheldon Keefe's face. It's like, oh yeah, we fired you, but also
It's my fault.
It's my fault. Easy to say now that you have no one else to blame.
Yeah,
Except for also the players.
because all the fans are calling for the end of Shanahan's job because he was there the entire time. I think he's been there since 2018, and it's been nothing but playoff failure for 2018, save for last year.
Yeah.
So that's the big change that everyone in the Toronto Maple Leafs fan base was expecting, was that Shanahan would get cut loose. Unfortunately,
Instead of
for them,
Keefe.
yeah.
It's the same pattern they did last year with Dubas.
Well, Keefe, I understand Keefe's firing because there was, I think, the day before he was fired, there was this clip going around of him in the locker room trying to pump up the Leafs, and then conversely, there was one with Craig Berube giving a locker room speech to the Blues, and basically, Keefe said, "Let's go out there and let's have fun." Whereas Berube had the tone of, "We're gonna bleep and go out there, we're gonna bleep and win," and kind of ripping the paint off the walls, so to speak.
Got the boys going.
Exactly, and that, I mean, people respond to different things differently. So I'm not gonna hold Sheldon Keefe. I'm not gonna hold that against Sheldon Keefe. Maybe that's just how the Leafs respond.
Isn't that I guess it was Game 7, so I'm not really.
Yeah.
But
that Berube one was from 2019 when they made the finals.
oh.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that
it
wasn't
was
that
an
wasn't
old,
from that wasn't from anything recent.
Okay.
I don't know. I get the key firing because you do need a new voice, but it doesn't make sense that Shanahan stays on after seeing so much failure if it's quote on him.
I just don't understand.
But I mean,
Because Keefe can't control the fact that 4 of his players take up almost half of the cap space.
yeah, when like no matter what
And-
you say in the locker room, if it's
and-
falling on prima donna ears, it's not going to get
And
heard
3 of them don't do anything half the time. Nylander was the only one that actually dialed in
for playoffs.
for playoffs. And he missed 3 games.
yeah.
I think
He was one of the higher scorers, and he missed
I think
3
he had
games.
3 goals. He had 2 in Game 6 and then 1 in Game 7. I think. Like, yeah, get Marner and Matthew scored a goal. Yeah, Matthews was the game winner in Game 2, and Marner scored the meaningless goal that broke Swayman's shutout. But you paid that much, and you scored 69 goals in the regular season. Score.
Yeah.
You're that's your job. Like,
Yeah, like I don't.
look at McDavid. He went from a scorer to a passer. And what is he doing in playoffs? He has 13 He's leading the playoffs in points.
You know who the Leafs need? Daryl Sutter.
No, they don't.
Yes,
So I
no,
wanted-
they
I wanted
don't.
to
Yes,
bring-
they do, because the prima donnas will get whipped into shape.
So, Aiden, you can tap the counter up now by 1. So I wanted to talk about this situation because this is similar to what happened last season with Dubas. So Dubas wanted the more responsibility of being president of hockey ops and general manager, what he is in Pittsburgh now.
Yeah.
So, and they didn't want to get rid of Shanahan. Yeah, whatever. They didn't want to get rid of Shanahan, right? Because,
Yeah.
but if you look at what Dubas did last season, the season they made the second round, that was the best Leafs team we've seen in the past 10 years. Was last season when they made the second round.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then, okay, you get that good success. Now what do? Okay, Dubas is gone. Okay. So if Shanahan's saying that's his fault for these past few years, why is Dubas gone? And why is now Keefe gone? Kyle Dubas is a great general manager even from being on the Leafs. He made good plays that helped his team move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done, you can add another counter, Aiden, but he's done good things for Pittsburgh. I know they weren't that good, but way better than Hextall. I won't say it, don't worry. But
Thank you.
I just don't understand, if you're going to take the blame, you're letting go the youngest general manager in the NHL, who's a very good general manager. On the season, you broke the curse, and you let him go.
The hypocritical bit of, I mean, that's how we started this little segment of saying, I'm the one taking accountability, it falls on me, immediately after firing someone else.
Yeah.
It's like, why say that?
Then why is your head not rolling?
Yeah, why say that?
I scored an own goal, but it's the goalie's fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
If
I shot it at my goalie, but he didn't save it.
Yeah.
So why is it? How that's his fault, not mine.
I'm gonna briefly jump back to player stats from the Leafs this past postseason. Matthews played 5 games, got 4 points. Tyler Bertuzzi and Max Domi played 7 games, got 4 points. William Nylander, who played 4 games, is tied for 4th with 3 points. All of them goals.
Yeah, you want something funny? Bertuzzi and Domi don't barely make half of what Matthews makes, and they're the same amount of points.
Yeah,
Or
Marner.
I might be right. How much does Domi make?
Oh boy, not much.
Because Bertuzzi makes 5.5. I know that. Because he had the 1 year signing with Toronto. Even though he would have got more money in Boston, ironically.
You're asking about Bertuzzi or Domi?
Domi.
Domi.
What does he make?
So his contract's up at the end of this year.
Yeah.
But this year he made $3 million.
So $8 million to get the same amount of points to $13 million in Matthews.
Yep.
Wow, good money management. It's ridiculous.
I mean,
This'll-
superstars will be superstars, but
Yeah.
you can't just be a part-time superstar, though.
no,
This'll-
that's a great way to put it.
This will take us into talking more specifically about the coaching situation in Toronto.
Daryl Sutter.
Well, no. But
I think in Woodcroft.
the Leafs had... The reason that Leafs have been paying Matthews that much is because Matthews really succeeds in the season and then falls apart in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Much like Sheldon Keefe, who, as I said earlier, was let go yesterday. And there's been a lot of talk about who's going to replace him. Aiden, if you want to throw the playback in whenever you want here. 4 names that I want to briefly touch on.
That is so cool.
Dang, I switched. For coaches that have been briefly touched on, Craig Berube, Todd McClellan, Rod Brindamore, and Jay Woodcroft. Craig Berube almost had the job in Ottawa, but apparently money was an issue there, which is why Travis Green got hired.
Was he the old Blues coach?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was there for the Cup run. Todd McClellan,
he won a cup.
former Oilers coach, former Kings coach.
Sharks too.
And you can take it off whenever.
Was he with the Sharks too? Or am I talking on my butt?
McClellan?
Yeah.
Possibly, I don't know off the top of my head.
That's my hockey knowledge.
McClellan is one that has been kind of touched on as well. So I'm getting the feeling that instead of go for a new coach, he was.
Yep.
Okay, instead of going for a new coach with like not a huge amount of experience, I think Toronto wants to switch tracks here and go for a more experienced coach like Berube.
Which is probably the way to go.
Yeah. Like,
someone who knows how to deal with these kind of players.
Also,
like McClellan, which is why I put Jay Woodcroft on that graphic, because he was an amazing coach in Edmonton, and he was also the sacrificial lamb there. That wasn't the problem, but he just needed to change something up. I don't think they're going to go with Woodcroft because they want more experience, which is why also I threw Brindamore on that graphic as well.
Is coming
Because his contract is up, and a big sticking point with him is that he wants all of his assistant coaches, he wants them cared for as well.
good for him.
Which is also curious during the press release that the Leafs released during the Keefe firing is they'll decide the status of the assistant coaches in the coming weeks here.
So with this Sheldon Keefe firing, Martin St. Louis, coach of the Montreal Canadiens, is now the sixth for NHL coaches, longest tenured. First being Tampa.
Oh yeah, John Cooper's been there for a year.
I think John.
Over like a decade, sorry.
Yeah, same with Sullivan for Pittsburgh.
Four.
So it's kind of funny that there's been, I think, 28 coach firings and
That's insane. That's so many.
yeah,
That seems like too much.
Well, think of Buffalo. They went through like
Firing a
I think they went
coach is
through
the
3
emergency
and 4.
button is kind of like not.
Calgary had the same thing where they went through 3 or 4 since COVID, I think, because there was.
Wasn't it just Sutter and then?
It was Peters, Ward, Sutter, Huska.
I mean, one thing that just sticking on the Maple Leafs for a little bit. Just before we got into that coaching bit, you mentioned they get paid a lot of money to do a lot in the regular season, then do nothing.
Yeah.
In the postseason.
Yep.
What do you guys think? Should salary be based off of regular season performance, or should it be based on playoffs? Because it's insane to me that you can demand this insane amount of money to do great. Don't get me wrong, to do great things in hockey games that ultimately don't matter that much.
Yeah, but if you
and then as soon as it starts to matter, you smoke it.
I don't know, because if you think of like bad teams over the years, like I think Erik Karlsson was making he was making a lot of money in San Jose, right? His team did nothing in the playoffs. That's basically what I'm.
But then why did they deserve that money?
Well, he's got 110 points. He was still doing something.
So
but they did nothing in the playoffs.
So here's what I was gonna say is that
Because that part.
I'm just curious what your guys'
I think
thoughts on
the
that.
signing is based off what they can bring to the team.
Right.
So
it matters to an extent because you do have to fill out the
like
cap.
if you're signing Ovechkin you're signing him for goals.
Right.
So obviously him going into the playoffs and having no goals, that's a problem.
Huge problem.
But then Matthews, you're signing for goals. McDavid, you're signing for all-around play. Crosby, you're signing for all-around play. When you sign each player, you're picking up what they bring to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. But they should bring those to the table in playoffs.
That's what. Yeah, but you can't.
And if they don't,
Okay, so
every Colorado superstar has brought everything to the table.
yeah, but so if I'm taking Erik Karlsson, if I'm taking that example, he never had a contract signed with San Jose because his contract was only through Ottawa, I believe.
How much money has he been making? Because San Jose retained him in that
My bad. GM Doug Wilson signed Erik Karlsson's current contract. He's making $11.5. Before that, he was on contract for $6.5. So here's my answer to your question.
San Jose retained in that trade.
Yeah. I think it matters to an extent. Because
You bring a good point, though.
You do have to hit the cap floor. That is one thing you have to do. So you do have to pay your top players an amount, like a significant amount.
yeah.
I think that's where the playoff contributions come in. I think that's what changes in negotiations. So let's
Wait, can you hold on for a sec?
Sure.
So you said, just going back to your point, you got to reach the cap floor, and what about players that make sacrifices for their teams?
Like Mitch Marner or who?
Well, okay, Aiden raised the counter again. Crosby. For the past 10 years, he's been making 8.7. That's
Okay.
way less than everyone else. And
Because
then
he wants his number in there. That's different.
he also wants cups. Like, you think of that.
Is that why he decided on 887?
No, it's because of his birthday. 8th
Yeah.
month, 7th day.
Well, no. I mean, but is that why?
Yes, that's
Yes.
why they chose
Oh,
that.
that's
8.7 million.
That's a massive thing.
Oh
is
my
that, is that,
God. Go home,
Okay, so-
Sidney Crosby. Come on.
It was a pay cut. So he took a pay cut so he could able to afford Malkin, Letang, another play, and I think Phil Kessel at the time.
And it just happened to be his number.
Can I?
He chose to do that.
Yeah, but what's Austin Matthews' number off the top of your head?
35.
19.
34.
Wow,
close.
that's brutal.
His cap hit 11.634.
But look at
Take it away from
look
him.
what Bergeron.
Take it away from him.
Look what
He doesn't
Bergeron did
deserve
last
to
year.
make
Look what
you
Bergeron
don't
did
get
last
funny
year.
little things if you suck.
That's something you lose in
but-
negotiations.
No, but look, you have to. You also got to play for the team. Bergeron did it last year. He played for $1 million, and his team was the best
I
team in NHL
completely
history.
get that. I think just making
But I think
tiny little number changes in your salary is stupid.
Oh yeah,
I
I
think-
think
come
it's
on.
ridiculous.
But like,
Come on.
you got to look at McDavid. He's getting paid a lot.
Is he getting 9.8?
To do?
No.
No, he's getting like a lot. So whatever.
97, but sure.
No, 9.7.
McDavid's getting paid a lot, but
98
he's
is
also
Bedard.
so like think of it as like a graph. He's getting paid to do a
graph.
lot, but he's also doing a lot.
Yeah.
But Matthews is getting paid a lot to not do a lot. That's why you got to think about pay cuts. That's why Boston and Pittsburgh have been so dominant because their players care more about cups than money.
Well, I think we're saying that. I think we're saying the same things, but I think choosing a specific number is dumb
No, I think it's
based
funny.
on your number. Like, come on,
No,
how silly could you be?
I think
yeah,
it's funny.
It's like a silly little goofy thing.
I think it's funny.
to answer your question directly, just to tie a bow on this Leafs conversation before we jump ahead to a Utah topic that I want to talk about. Sorry. I think depending on the GM, your performance in the playoffs might plus or minus your contract value, depending on how deep you go, by
So
let's say 2.5.
So whoa.
I would agree.
Dubas and Matthews. Because that's what obviously when he would have signed. When did Matthews sign his big boy contract?
Dubas is a horrible negotiator.
It was recently.
I
wasn't
want
it?
that noted.
What?
Yes, he is.
I think he's been absolutely fantastic.
So,
I gotta
so,
be
so,
better
you,
at
so you have
Googling.
respect for a GM that gives their players an extra $34,000 in their contract because it's their freaking jersey number.
If he does it to Crosby, don't care.
Sure.
That counts.
Okay. Fair enough. So which big boy contract are we talking about? Because he's
The one that he just like. I
the
don't
one
know.
his extension that kicks in next year.
He's getting more.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
He's getting 11.6.
Dubas, I love you.
He's getting
You just
11.6
screwed the Leafs.
He's getting 11.6 at the end of this year, and he's getting 13.5 starting next year.
Maybe Dubas just left because he just wanted to sign everybody to a stupid amount of money and then leave. Which is hilarious.
Give him the Peter Shirley, Mikko Koskinen treatment.
Yep. That is
That
so
is
funny.
So much money.
Because everything Dubas has done for Pittsburgh has been cheap. Like, cheap. Which is so funny.
That is so much money.
Give me. Hey, I have the same amount of assists as Nylander did in the playoffs.
Yeah, but you also had 3 goals.
Yeah, I said assists, not points.
Are we good to jump ahead to Utah?
How much more? Wait, yeah, just curious.
So much
How
money.
much? When does it kick in? What kicks in?
The 13.
He gets 15 million in bonuses.
Oh yeah, no, but that 13.5 I think it is.
What are bonuses for?
It's just it's not for cap.
Largely performance bonuses.
But they
outside
didn't
of the
do
cap.
anything. Why is he getting?
No, okay, I'm gonna.
It's largely goal based during the season.
So I'm gonna.
But
Just,
that-
It's
okay.
easier to show it off in the NFL because they show it. The media shows it more. It'd be the amount of like for example, there was one a few years ago of Gronk needed a certain amount of catches to get an extra bonus, 1.1 million.
Yep.
And there was a game, the very last game, Gronk goes up to Tom Brady and he's like, hey, I need one more. Perfect. Tom Brady changes the play, so all Gronk's got to do is run out. Nobody covers him. Tom Brady throws the pass. There's 1.1 million. It's an incentive.
The NFL is a completely different freaking
I'm
beast.
just showing, but that's what the stuff in the contracts.
But, like, now that we're on bonuses, that's kind of what I meant when I brought this whole thing up. Like, $7.2 million in bonuses.
Please. Hello. Gimme.
For
I'd like
what?
7 million
For what?
to look handsome. Poppy Matthews.
If your team makes the playoffs and you don't do anything for your team in the playoffs, you should not get a bonus.
But like,
Especially if you're already making $12 million.
but you got to think about the perspective of NHL awards. You got to think of it like that.
Well,
yeah,
that's
so
different.
that's another thing I want to touch on. Again, we have like 15 minutes left, so we have to get out of this.
Do we not have extra 10 minutes because of our?
Yeah, we go.
That is 15 minutes.
We like to talk.
We do. That's why
We're
on
good
a
at
show.
we're good at this.
Hey, yo.
So yeah, it makes a difference if you're like a Rock Richard winner, or that's why I said depending on your playoff success, if you're a Conn Smythe winner, if you're a Ted Lindsay winner, that adds to your contract value.
Yes.
I understand that you could score 69 goals in the season and then just disappear in the playoffs.
Like we saw.
Yep, like Exhibit A, Austin
If you do
Matthews.
that, you shouldn't get your bonus.
But if you hit the bonus,
What
during
matters
this,
the most in hockey?
Cup.
The
Yeah.
Stanley Cup. So if you do nothing in the Stanley Cup playoffs, why is he getting an extra $7 million?
which is another reason why, before we jump off of this, the Leafs fans were calling for Shanahan's head on this one because he ultimately decides who stays and who goes. Dubas was literally just a figurehead when he was in Toronto. I imagine Treliving is
Because Dubas wanted to stay.
almost like the same
and
thing.
Shanahan said no.
I mean, you heard his press conference that before he left
that was
Toronto, he
true.
didn't want to stay.
Hey, no complaints by me.
Who would want to stay in Toronto?
Obviously
Apparently, if you
Austin
pay
Matthews.
Austin Matthews enough,
And Nylander.
he will stay.
And Marner. And Morgan Riley. And John Tavares.
We do have to move off of the Leafs topic, though.
These people make too much money. That's what I want to end on. Especially if you didn't do anything.
Fun fact, Tom McClellan played for the New York Islanders. Like, actually played.
It is a fun fact. Utah.
Since
the
our-
state that
So since our last
exists.
show,
of all the states
Don't
in
ask
the U.S., it
don't
is
ask me what
one
state
of
it's in, because
was it Utah?
You did not. No.
No.
No, you did not.
I don't want to talk about it. It came out of my mouth, and then
That's almost
Utah.
as bad as the Where's Honolulu.
Utah is the state.
There
Utah
you
is
go.
the
We let him get there if you give him enough time. But
It's the equivalent
That
of-
was bad.
I think that's the equivalent of saying Alberta is Canada. Canada is Alberta.
What?
Aiden's insisting that we fire you.
Hey,
That was crazy.
we're still
that
correct.
was almost as bad
Hey,
as
we're still
the
correct.
Honolulu one.
Sorry, Aiden. How much time do we have left?
All right, Utah. 20
16?
teams have been.
Yeah, 60 minutes.
Yeah. So
20 team names
20
have been
teams?
trademarked.
So 20 names have been released from Chris Johnston on X, which was then posted to
Formerly known
the
as Twitter.
NHL's Instagram page. And you can whack the graphic up there. So the Leafs, the names are the Black Diamonds, Blast, Blizzard, Canyons, Caribou, Freeze, Frost, Fury, Glaciers, Hive,
What?
HC,
What?
Ice, Mammoth, Mountaineers, Outlaws, Powder Squall, Swarm, Venom, and Yeti. If you want to throw to mine full screen, I pretty much decided to do, well, I mean, not my ISO, the playback, but sure. If you can throw that full screen.
Not $2.
My
Yeah.
names that I like the most were the Hive and the Blizzard. Blizzard because Dairy Queen, that opens up a litany
just-
about.
That's
Just
true.
bore you get rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
already,
video.
It's already pre-game. Go,
Yeah.
Mark.
Well, you got to think about Utah Caribou, Utah Outlaws, Utah Mountaineers, Utah Frost, Utah Yetis.
Why plural?
No, get
Why
out of here.
plural?
Yetis sound way better than Yeti.
I disagree.
Utah Yeti, Utah Yetis.
Yetis sounds like two clams.
No,
Think of all
I-
the, think
singular
of
is
all
the
the
best.
animal or monster names in the NHL, and there's one that doesn't have an S.
Yetis don't even exist.
And
I
that
guess
is
neither do
Bills.
Kraken. This is mine. Black Diamonds, Frost, Squall, Canyons, Yeti. Utah is a wonderful place to ski. I'm a little biased there. I love skiing. I love that they kind of accepted the skiing themes with Black Diamonds and Squall. I'm looking
I didn't
back
think
on
about
it.
that.
I would almost put Squall higher up. I've been thinking about it more since I sent these in, and I really like Squall.
And you can cut
I
to
think
Maine.
Utah Squall is pretty sweet. I don't think it's going to be Utah Squall.
how
I
does
think it's going to go. I think they're going to go with Yetis.
I think
Or
Yetis.
Yeti.
See, it just rolls off the tongue better.
I don't like Yetis.
No.
I prefer Yeti.
Dude,
The thing
think
is,
of
like,
all
I
the
would
animal. Think of all the animal teams in the NHL, and only one of them ends with no S.
Which one?
Kraken.
Kraken.
But like,
Which doesn't exist. So we're talking about animals that don't exist. Yeti's fine. I don't want it to be. What I was looking at.
Aiden just got in my ear saying, would I prefer the Florida Panther?
yes, exactly.
No, I wouldn't. But again, since I didn't get to go through my list because Merrick just insisted on talking.
Dude, it's a
Please,
show.
yeah, throw it back up if you can. So I had the Hive just because you could have you could do so much with the actual name, like the nest, the hive, whatever you want to do. So there's the 20 names there again. There's my list. So the Hive, the Blizzard, the Yeti. Keep it singular. It just sounds better. The Venom and the Mammoth. I just like something unique. I don't really like names with S's on the end because the NHL is full of those.
You have Mammoth on there, but you want to keep it unique? Mammoth
Yeah.
is an LLL team.
I know it's an LL team.
So I do enjoy I like Mammoth too, but that's the reason why I didn't go with Mammoth is it's already a major league team.
Sickest jerseys in the NLL.
I just found
Agreed.
I found a really
But,
funny.
St. Louis Cardinals,
no.
Arizona Cardinals.
Well, yeah, but it's different.
What's the problem? You can have multiple professional teams with the same name.
Yeah, I agree, but
Jets,
yeah, that one.
New York Jets, Winnipeg Jets.
yeah, fair enough. But that's just why I didn't put it up on my top five.
So I just found a thing on
Also, Panther
NHL's,
Cities is better.
on
Their
NHL's
jersey.
Reddit, and it's a very funny way of looking at all the current NHL team logos.
Okay.
So, animals on triangles, sharks, penguins, people looking to the side, Ottawa and Chicago, circles with bees, Boston and Buffalo, wings with circles, Flyers and Red Wings, blue things that usually aren't blue, the Blues, and Toronto, medieval shields, Vegas and LA, red letters on circles, Avalanche and Devils, orange, blue, white circles, Oilers and Islanders, stormy weather, Canes and Stars, 3D Stars, Dallas and Columbus, shields with place names, Panthers and Rangers, red, white, blue, flyy things, Jets and Capitals, letters made of animal parts, Kraken, Ducks, Aboriginal art animals, Canucks and previously Arizona Coyotes, animals.
The artist formerly known as Arizona.
animals looking to the side, Minnesota and the Predators, and Red Seas, the
Red
Flames
Seas.
and the Canadians.
Sea of Red.
I thought it was a very funny way to say some of that. I do like blue things that aren't usually blue.
I'm going to throw some honorable mentions out there as well. Utah Powder would have done great in the 80s.
Nah, yeah, that I hated powder.
It would have been a
Because
great
that's gonna
idea. It
suck.
would have been a great idea if instead of Florida Panthers, they went with Miami Powder. I think that would have been fantastic. Back
This is
in
not
the
slander.
80s.
This is not slander.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's not slander. It's a joke. Utah Squall. I really like Squall.
What is a squall?
It is an isolated snowstorm.
Yeah, it's a localized
And
storm of
if
brain
you name
sleep.
your team Squall, you immediately own the whiteout if you do it properly.
The Jets own the White
the
House.
Blizzard,
I went straight
everyone
to
knows-
Dairy
and then
Queen.
and then
But
and then you
Squall
have
is more
Dairy
unique.
Queen.
I immediately went to
marketing.
Squall is more unique.
Yeah,
I
but you
think.
got the marketing sponsorship on lock if you go Blizzard.
Because the money matters if you go Blizzard. So I would forego Squall for Blizzard because you have the whiteout,
Or you can say
and then
what,
you have the marketing potential.
you can say what I did and say instead of Utah Canyons, you could do Utah Crayons.
That's true.
Imagine the logo, which also was announced because they're not deciding on a name this year.
What? Dude, am I gonna have to deal with another
They're-
Washington football team?
They're going to do the
Yeah, Utah Hockey
PWHL
Club.
Utah.
Come on, there's so much money
okay, so
in
here-
these organizations.
yeah, so I wanna-
Come on, you can get this done in 2 weeks.
Aiden, time check.
Matthews makes $12 million. You can't pick a
Okay,
name.
So we haven't been on this news as long as I thought. We have
Do a
about 12 minutes
public
left.
vote. Done. Simple. Bada bing, bada boom.
So when this was announced that they were going to go with the Utah thing, and they weren't going to come out with a name or anything, it was, I think it was on, I forget if it's on 32 Thoughts with Jeff Merrick and Ellie Friedman, or if it's just on Merrick's radio show, not yours, Jeff Merrick.
you gotta go full name with it. It's a bit awkward.
He said that we can't point and laugh at the PWHL because now Utah's doing this too.
Yeah.
I can say they're both horrible.
Yeah, they both suck.
Yeah, I'm not going to treat Utah any differently because this
What
both.
part of the wait?
No, I'm going to treat Utah worse because Utah, whatever they're calling it right now,
do you
Utah HC has so much more resources behind them.
What
the
are you
one
comparing
team
it-
probably has more resources than the entire PWHL. They have no excuse.
What are you comparing the PWHL to the Utah for? I don't understand.
Because the PWHL
They don't
also
have team
doesn't have a
names.
logo or team name yet.
They also did the location name on the jersey. And that
Am
was
I really
it.
going to see that kind of? Because PWHL is sick.
An NHL team.
Jerseys, in the PWHL.
Yeah.
It's just the same thing with different colors.
Yep.
If that's in the NHL, I'm going to be a little.
An NHL team should
That's Utah.
There's three jerseys.
That's what Utah's going to be
There's
this
like
coming
3
year.
to 4
It
jerseys
really
per
shouldn't
year.
be.
If you're a Winter Classic or what's the other one called?
Stadium series?
Heritage Classic, Stadium Series, or Winter Classic. There's 3 different jerseys.
Plus
And then-
you have your
then
alternate, your
jersey,
home, and your
your away jersey,
And a third,
your third, and then your alternate.
and then retro,
which is a
I
third,
guess.
and then your reverse retro.
which they're not doing this year because Fanatics is taking over.
Oh.
Yeah, so
But-
that's 6 jerseys.
I don't know. There's so much money behind. Again, there's more money
yeah, but that's-
behind Utah HC than there is behind
That's
the
6
entire
jerseys.
PWHL. You have no excuse.
That's 6 jerseys, assuming you're in all of the outdoor games as well.
Which I don't know what it is. The not Stadium Series. Winter Classic was released, wasn't it? Already?
Hundreds of thousands
I
of
believe
graphic
it's Chicago
design
in it.
students
Chicago,
around
St. Louis.
the country, and you can't find one. Come on, you can't pay one $1,000
Yeah.
plus like a 1% royalty. Come on.
I don't know.
How much money is the NHL worth? Really?
Yeah, it didn't make much sense to me. I think they're both
You were right, by the way.
Chicago, St. Louis. Yeah, I think I remember being frustrated about that earlier.
I think that's now Chicago goes ahead of, for the most Winter
Pittsburgh.
Classic games.
Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like it from PWHL. I don't like it from the NHL at all.
But I understand it from the PWHL. I don't understand why there's an issue with getting Utah set up.
Well, because
it's Arizona, they're trying
because-
to treat it the same way.
Because I don't want to blame someone specifically, but I am going to blame someone specifically because Bettman was dragging his feet this entire time on trying to save Arizona. And then Alex Morello
Dragging his feet or crawling?
Alex Morello did the same thing that Alex Morello did what he did, and the auction was not in line with NHL's timeline, so they moved it to Utah, which made it quick. But they should have had this backup plan a while ago, so that you do have jerseys, you do have names, you do have this, you do have
and
that.
Utah looks
We've got
genuinely-
months, though.
And
We've
Utah's got
months.
and Utah fans are genuinely excited. Did you see, when the players were introducing?
They've already sold out of season tickets.
Yes. They're
they're
obviously excited,
they-
and the Utah Jazz owner is thrilled.
They have a 12,000 seat arena, and they have 22,000 deposits.
And did you see the Utah Jazz, because he owns
Brian Smith.
Yeah, he's thrilled. He's so excited.
Oh, he's jacked.
When have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
When a new team, instead of being like, oh,
Regular season
you didn't
starts
see
on
it in Vegas, you didn't see it in Seattle.
No.
He's out in Vegas a bit.
A little bit, yes, but
Vegas for
it's
sure.
huge.
Seattle, no.
Right now, it's huge for Utah.
Yeah. It
is
This
huge for
guy's,
Utah.
this guy. I guarantee you, if the NHL goes no, I won't be surprised if he goes, okay, I'm funding the jerseys. I'm funding this.
Yeah,
I'm
we're going to
funding
Jersey
that.
Bird.
Get Jersey Bird. But regular season's what?
Jersey Bird sponsor us, please.
September? October? When does it start?
October.
October.
October. Months, bro.
It's May.
They can get it done. They just
Yeah, they can, but
how many
don't know.
the thousands of people in this maybe tens, I don't know how many people work for the NHL, tens of thousands of people in this organization, hundreds of thousands of graphic design students around the country, almost unlimited financial resources, and you're telling me this thing can't get done
yeah.
This is why
in 6
NHL
months.
struggles at marketing.
Are you kidding me?
NHL struggles at marketing compared to the NFL and the NBA. But this is a golden opportunity. If you get this going, that means so you get this going, right? You have already the immediate fan base that want this to happen. Then jersey sales. You already have the season ticket sales.
Yeah.
Let's say this team, it's a carbon copy of Arizona. Let's say this team does good. Boom. Let's say hypothetically they make playoffs. That's boom.
Even
And-
bigger boom.
You can't have a team with no logo in. You're not Doritos here. You need a logo.
Yeah.
That was a crazy callback.
It
also.
was. Yeah.
I think that might be a little too old for me.
But also, it was like 2 years ago. Maybe
not that old.
Maybe they're banking on the excitement though. Maybe they're like, we don't have to do this
what's
because
the-
people are going to buy these crappy jerseys anyway.
But what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
And then they're going to buy another jersey when the
Yeah.
logo comes out. Maybe it's just another cash
Maybe.
grab. If it is, Oh, I was going to swear there. I did.
Yeah, I was also thinking of a swear as well.
Yeah, cough button. Speaking of which, shout out to our TikTok fans. We got a cough button for you.
I do not think you can read that.
No.
No.
Aiden, if you want to tell me when we have 5 minutes left, please.
But yeah, I think they
Yeah, I
need
think he's
to.
gone. That's okay.
That marketing needs to. You got to have it set in stone. It's brutal. If you want this, if you want the NHL, because right now it's popular again. Look at what Shaq's been doing with Hyman.
Yeah.
That's a whole marketing.
So what is that?
Zach Hyman, Shaq Hyman. It's just like a running joke. Zach Hyman
Okay.
gave him a jersey. Boom. That's NHL talk on an NBA broadcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have
right?
Pat. We have Pat.
Say what you will about the Pat McAfee show.
We hate him, but he's doing
hate
what he
Pat
can.
McAfee?
He has a segment called
When he takes his shirt off.
What?
Where you're on?
Hey, Pat
Yeah,
McAfee
yeah,
cheers for the
yeah,
Penguins.
You're
yeah,
on
yeah.
live TV, dude.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Put a shirt.
Pat
on.
McAfee cheers for the Penguins. Automatic W.
We don't hate him. You
I
just
don't-
like
I
him.
don't like
No, but
I don't count
Pat
that.
McAfee does so much hockey. He does PWHL stuff. He's helping marketing for the NHL so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying I hate what he does. All I'm saying is he should put a shirt on.
Yeah.
And he was a goalie
But,
punt.
yeah.
He's on TV.
Say what you will about Pat McAfee. He has a segment on his show called Hockey is Cool.
Because it is.
Because
Yeah,
it is.
absolutely. And
Have
I'm
you
not-
seen like those YouTube videos and TikTok videos where it's like reacting to hockey, like hockey hits?
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, what?
Everyone loves it.
Yeah. If we can move that off that because we do have 5 minutes left, and I do
Yeah.
want to touch on the PWHL.
Yes.
So first and foremost, Jersey Bird is sadly not the jersey
really?
supplier for PWHL. It was announced on
say it.
PWHL's
Don't say it.
Instagram yesterday.
Is
Don't
it
say it.
FanDuel? I'm gonna lose it.
How is FanDuel's a?
Not FanDuel. Fanatics.
The official jersey sponsor for the
If you say it,
PWHL is
I'm walking.
Bauer.
I'm not.
Oh, that's
walking.
not bad.
I'm not walking.
That's not bad.
If it was Fanatics, I was getting up and leaving
No,
this chair.
it is Bauer.
No complaints by me. Oh, but if you had Reebok, throwback back in the day, Reebok jerseys.
Bauer's not bad.
Reebok doesn't want to. Reebok's trying to get out of hockey. Same with CCM because they're both owned by Bauer, Adidas. Reebok. I think Reebok
they
and
do-
CCM
they
are
do the
both owned
WHL?
by Adidas.
CCM owns so many hockey players for like sticks and stuff.
They do the WHL jerseys. Why would they be trying to get out?
I don't know.
Also,
I couldn't tell you, but
also-
but Adidas is trying to leave
Slight
it.
breaking news: Connor
Sweet
McDavid
dreams.
signed with Body Armor. Yeah.
Yeah, Body Armor, you got it. And then we also want to touch on the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sadly, my team, Ottawa, did not make it to the playoffs.
But congratulations to PWHL Toronto for winning the first PWHL playoff game in history. 4-0 win, Toronto.
Could you imagine it was
against
a
Minnesota.
Boston-Toronto final and Boston wins?
And they got
love it.
And
then-
Toronto got to pick their opponent as part of their
And they say
playoff
with me now.
format as well.
Who do they pick? 3, 2, 1.
Minnesota.
Boston also beat Montreal yesterday 2-1 in overtime. Pretty sweet. Like
I just can't wait till there's
love
more
it.
teams.
Yeah, I can't wait till it's at least 10.
Yeah.
If you could make a team right now, who would you? What
Didn't we
PWHL?
do this?
I feel like we did.
Probably.
I said.
Like-
I think. We
Oh, when
both
they
agreed.
expand to?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we
yeah,
both.
we-
I said Halifax, I think.
Yeah,
We said-
Halifax was
we said
touched on.
Pennsylvania.
We said Pennsylvania.
we split between Philly.
I can't wait till Calgary gets one. It's going to be years down the road.
Years.
Ideally before 2030 would be pretty cool.
I think
It's a good
well,
league.
once we get the new arena.
They're breaking records almost every other game. So
Yeah, and
good hockey.
There's a wide base of support here.
Aiden,
for
can I get the camera on
PWHL.
me for a second? Okay. Please Toronto make the finals and please lose to Boston. 'Cause I think that'd be the funniest thing.
It would be really
It'd be
funny.
so
the thing
funny.
is Toronto's
Just follow the trend. That'd be so funny.
The thing is, Toronto's really good. Another shout out: the world champions for para hockey is in
Sledge
Calgary. It's technically called para hockey, but it is sledge hockey. It's in Calgary right now. Canada plays China in the semifinal at 5:30 today. The finals, which I really hope Canada is in, are on 5:30 at Sunday. I'm going to be going to that.
Canada-
So I'm excited for that.
Canada's also has a nice goal differential of.
Lots.
Well,
China won a game 10-0 and they lost a game 10-0, so they have a goal differential of 0.
wait, what is Canada's? Let's figure out Canada's goal differential. I think this would be quite funny.
I'm sure it'll tell us.
If the website loads. Because we love hockey websites.
Hockey websites are the worst.
So they won a game 5-1. They won a game 10-0. So there's
They won
14.
and 19 as well. So 19-0
Then we'll say
plus
10.
10, so 29.
And then you let him
plus
one.
5.
You have a goal. So that's 33. Goal differential.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, not bad at all.
Quick math. It's not bad.
I'm actually quite
It's
excited
better
to go
than
to that.
it's better than the Capitals the entire year. And
We have 1 minute left, so I'm just
wrap
gonna just a quick wrap up. Enjoy. We'll see you guys on Wednesday again. Enjoy continued second round games.
Yep.
But when we come back with you, we might not have Carolina in the playoffs anymore, as we are on, as Phil grabs his broom, sweep watch. Enjoy the
amount
Panthers
of
and
dust you just
Bruins
pulled
tonight,
up is
as well as the
insane.
Oilers and Canucks. We will see you guys on Wednesday. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. We will see you guys later. Camera 2. We'll see you guys later. That'll be it for this Friday show. Enjoy your weekend. If you're in Calgary, enjoy the weather.
rained
That'll be
fine.
it. Outro.
See you
for Rain
guys.
is up.